Hi guys, welcome to IAB305 Information System Lifecycle Management. So here we will be discussing on the new system proposal for the Smithfield food industry. So throughout the presentation, we will be suggesting information system strategies and also will explain how information system would improve current organization practices and help them to improve their IT capabilities. Let's go for a quick review of what we will discuss. So mainly we will be discussing on the problems that the Smithfield food industry will be facing, a relation between the Smithfield and information system through Foster's 5 model and also Nolan's technique, strategic maps and goals, a business model canvas, and also what we learned from the overall case study. So we could focus on the main problems. Smithfield aggressive expansion mainly started in the year 1980. The multiple and diverse acquisition created a complex web of operational and informational problems. From the year 2004 to 2016, around 4 SAP implementation took place. The first implementation was mainly took place in 2005. But before that, the organization was running in an order to cash process. Since the system was developed before 1980s, there were only a few people who knew how to use the DIBOL language, which actually caused some serious problem in the company processes. Any update within the order management required a patchwork of custom programming changes. Even after implementing the OTC SAP module, most of the company's operation were done through the outdated legacy system. The second implementation, both Smithfield Packing Company and Farm Food were running in a two identical SAP R3 databases, but they were not integrated and operated, and they were operated independently. Several problems has arisen because the Smithfield packing had to be recorded and accounted in the Smithfield packing SAP R3 system, and the sales and shipment of this inventory was handled by the farmland system. So in the year 2005, after taking initiative of One Smithfield, there were several discrepancies in handling the order and transportation process. Having a decentralized and independent operation resulted in increased logistics and transportation expenses for the corporation. So, some of the major SAP implementation risks. During the SAP having a flawed ERP system during the SAP implementation could result in an extensive cost and business disruption. The change in ERP during the mismatch of system implement could result in increased cost of customization and also could result in interrelated functions and all. One of the other well-known issue was the lack of central authority in ERP installation. This is also known as no one is in charge. A lack of this could result in obscure deadlines, lack of assigned responsibilities, and also poor tracking of progress. Now over to Kwang to talk more about the strategic analysis.
Thank you, Washin. I would like to talk about the strategy analysis part, and I will divide it into two parts, the internal environment analysis and the external environment analysis. In the external part, I will use Porter 5 force to analysis. There are 5 forces that impact Smithfield Foods. In rivalry between existing competitors' parts, there are many competitors in the market, such as Seaboard Foods, Pipstone. Also, the industry growth is low and fixed cost is high. In threat of new entrants parts, it's affected by brand equity and customer loyalty. When the customers satisfied with Smithfield products, they will then keep buying their products. In threat of substitute products or service parts, there are many substitute products in the market, and the relative price of substitutes is almost the same. In buyer power parts, the price and differentiation of products affect most. Customers concern more on the price difference and the quality of the products. In supply power, there are limited competition. Cost Smithfield have their own manufacturer, and the after-sales service are affected. Next is the internal part. I will use Lawrence stage model to analyze. There are 6 stages in the model, which is initiation, contingent, control, integration, data administration, and maturity. In the first stage, initiation, users are hands-off in approach and extensive information system planning. In the second stage, contingent, there are rapid goals for fundamental use of information system. In the first stage, control, the information system is considered as an important function. In the fourth stage, integration, There are greater use in information system. In the fifth stage, data administration, it emphasizes on managing information assets rather than IT. In the sixth stage, maturity, the alignment of information system and actual information needs of Smithfield Foods. Thank you.
Thank you, Kwong. So let's move on to the strategic map. So essentially, basically, and briefly, strategic map consists of 4 different types of perspectives, which are financial, customer, internal business, and learning and growth perspectives. And overall, those perspectives are the standards for defining the characteristic of objectives. An objective is the thing that what business is trying to achieve, which is mainly important thing. And measurement is a way to determine how much objective is going on. And then once the measurements are established and a target for the measurements to be set. So it means that each measurement must have each target. If the target is reached, then we can say the strategy is being successfully implemented. Initiatives are actions to achieve the specified target. And so in another word, we can say initiative is a specific method or strategy to achieve objectives. There's elements that I've mentioned above must be all linked together, and each element or strategic map is not able to stand alone. So can you go into the next page, please? So next page, please. So if we look at Smithfield example in a visualized strategy map, there are a few strategic goals that Smithfield set up. So the biggest goal was to replace the old IT system with the new one while minimizing losses through strategic methods. When we look at this situation under these circumstances, we can say that it starts at the learning and growth. So in that area, the rebuilding of these basic IT systems and the development of the centralized system increase system stability and reliable business system. That also leads to the reduced the fixed cost and the transmission cost. So, and this development also has led to the disappearance of many intermediate pursuits between customers and Smithfield company. So, and absolutely this increases the trust and familiarity of customers, which in turn leads to the ultimate goals of increasing profits. So this is the relations of strategic map for Smithfield company. So now I will hand it over to Alvin for BPM part. Thank you.
Yeah. Like now explains the business model canvas of Smithfield, where the first one is the customer segments, where it mainly focus on the mass market, such as the retailers, food distributors, food service industry, and industrial consumers. And secondly comes the value proposition, where brand recognition, where Smithfield has scored like a positive track and a solid reputation, along with expertise where employees are well trained and experienced. And the quality, strong supply chain, asset management, extensive product portfolio, etc. And then comes the channels, where retailers and distributors includes the wholesale, which includes the wholesalers, food service industries, export markets, etc. Then comes the customer relationship, where Smithfield mainly focus on personal assistance along with quality and tradition. And also the website provides information to the customers on a self-service basis too. And fifth comes the revenue stream, where Smithfield makes most of its profit through the sale of products such as packaged meats, fresh pork products, hog productions, and through international trade and investment. Then comes the key resources such as the physical and IT infrastructure, employees, assets, and many others. Then comes the key partnership, where suppliers, which includes the suppliers of raw materials and equipments. And then comes finally then comes the cost structure, where the main cost comes from the raw materials, employees, taxes, and logistics and transportations, etc. Now over to the updated model. So after implementing the new IS system, the single customer interface is a major difference, which comes in the customer relationship, along with centralized system and database, which comes as a difference in channels. Also, the real-time data inventory, issue integration, system customization is a difference which came under value proposition. and which comes to the and then comes to the core structure, where IT infrastructure development came as a big cost difference. Over to Roshan for the lessons learned. Thank you.
Thank you, Elvin. So to conclude the presentation, what we actually learned from this case study. So any industry like Smithfield should always work in an updated software system and should always focus on updating its software system regularly. When a company acquires another company or acquires two or more companies, they must always have an integrated ERP for transfer of inventory records. The organization operation uh, must be centralized in an effective manner so the concerned authority could oversee that. The involvement of organization concerned authority overseeing the ERP installation is really important because it could actually, the failure to implement the ERP could actually result in business disruption and all. Also, the risk and cost factors of the ERP installation are also a bit high. So it's necessary for the concerned authorities to have a look at it. So I hope you all like our presentation. Thank you.
And thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.